Let me give you a countdown on that.
Okay.
Just so you can.
Would you like me to give you a countdown?
No, I'll do it. I'll do it so you can.
Count yourself down.
I'm going to count myself down. Yeah. Now I'm going to say 3, 2, and then I'm going to be silent for the 1.
Why did they do that?
To keep it from being muddied audio.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw Muddy Audio open for Green Day.
Oh, really? How were they?
Cue the music.
Hi, I'm Al Goff.
And I'm Miles Miller.
Hi, this is John Schneider.
Hi, it's John Glover.
This is Justin Hartley. This is Steve DeKnight. This is Aaron Ashmore.
This is Cassidy Freeman, and you are listening to Starkville.
Starkville. Starkville House of L. Starkville House of L.
Starkville House of L.
The podcast.
Welcome back to Starkville House of L. I'm Steve.
I'm Derek.
We've got a big episode for you today, man. This is nuts.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
It is. It's crazy.
It's wild.
It's 2017. It's later that same day.
Yes.
It's like a soap opera.
This has been well. We decided to marathon these things and bang them. You know, so.
And then I lost the file.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay.
We did all of season 2. And I couldn't remember. I put it in the homework folder.
Every single episode. I'm going to try to recreate. Did the dog folder eat the homework folder?
Dog folder ate the homework folder.
I hate it when that happens.
You know?
That's some crap.
We're talking episodes 202 and 203, Heat and Duplicity. Right?
Yes.
Sure.
Now, to be fair.
I thought you were Steve.
No. Oh, well, I am, but right now I'm going to be fair.
Can I be frank?
You can be, but I think he'd be a little upset about that.
We're both. It's white man, bald beard.
Okay, so interchangeable, completely interchangeable.
Yes.
To be fair, these episodes have some major things that happen in them. You know, you're talking about a new power acquired. Yeah. And you're talking about the discovery of Clark's secret.
Yeah.
But man, this is 2002 television, isn't it? I mean,
I probably, all right, full disclosure. So since we wrapped season 1,
good to see you.
It's good to see you. And did one episode of season 2.
Oh, that's what I thought about. How ironic that he's all like, good to see you, and that all starts, but by the end of that whole sequence, he's blind.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
It's some dignified foreshadowing.
Yeah.
We've had an entire global pandemic in between here.
And that's why we didn't record Shoe.
That's why we didn't record Shoe. We'll go with that. Wes and I watched we started the show during lockdown, season 1. I don't think we ever got to season 2. So I was watching what we had already just watched as we were going back through season 1.
Right.
I don't know that I've seen Heat. I know I've not seen Duplicity in at least 20 years.
Wow.
Probably not. Probably Heat in at least 15.
You never rewatched season 2 in all this time? Because, I mean, this is a 20-year-old show at this point.
1,000% honest with you, except for maybe an episode here or there, like Finale. That's the name of the episode?
Yeah.
I've not gone back and watched the series.
But, like, when the series was airing and you'd get the DVDs and such as.
Oh, well, yeah, but, I mean, think about it. The DVD, let's think about this logically. So 15 years ago would have been, what, 2008?
2008, yeah.
I'd already had the DVD for like 6 years by that.
Right.
5 years.
Right.
I didn't really go back and rewatch.
I did every summer. Like, that was kind of the thing that would happen during the summer.
You got with friends and
yeah. I turned on. I
didn't have any of those.
Okay.
I didn't.
I turned people on to Smallville, but it was just always fun for me to kind of start to ramp up to the next season. So so I am super familiar with season 1, fairly familiar with season 2, very familiar with season 3. You know what I mean?
The WB would show it on Sunday afternoon.
Yes, yeah.
And I would watch them. I would watch them then. But again, still, I mean, since 2008, definitely since the show ended, I know I've not revisited season 2 any. So going back and watching this, like I have pretty good memory. Like you think about what happens in Heat, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. Lex gets married, and Clark gets heat vision, and then you go back and watch it now, and you're like, what the hell is this episode?
Yeah.
Like we just kind of. I mean, we accepted this for what it was in 2002.
Well, we did, and I think that's also something like the WB's thing was, the thing that just really strikes me is all the pretty people.
Yeah,
they really leaned into soap opera, and I guess I just see this now more through the 40. And I'm sorry, this is going to be one of those things that come up, I guess, again and again and again. Is I see this now through the lens of a 46-year-old dude, whereas then I was in my 20s. Yeah, I was in my mid-20s. And so, the pretty people really stand out in a way that's like, this is not real life.
Well, I was a sophomore or a junior, I don't remember, in high school.
Yeah, I was going to ask, you were like 8 when this came out, right, originally?
It's 4.5. So now being 38 and watching it, I'm also like remembering watching season 1 during lockdown. I'm like, I'm kind of glad Wes and I didn't get to this episode.
Yeah. Yes.
During COVID, because I do remember Joe Humrick texting me during lockdown because he and his son were watching. And it's also just very weird to think of our kids being 10, 11, 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
That wasn't even a thing in the heyday of Shoe at all, obviously, and him going, that episode was a little awkward to watch with.
Because suddenly you've got to have quote unquote the talk.
I forgot about. I thought it was a lot more nuanced. The euphemisms,
right, but it's not.
I forgot literally what was going on the screen when Clark with the heat vision.
Those lines were wrestling.
Not even the lions. I mean, exactly what's on the screen the minute he lights.
Oh
it up.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
The old tadpoles.
Because there's an episode in what season is it? 5? It may have been the one after Clark and Lana had sex, which was Mortal 502. Hey, I remember some things. Not much. I can't do the episode titles anymore. But anyway, there was a PSA either before or after the episode.
Oh, that was no, that was in season 4.
That was in 4.
That was in 4 because it was all about Lana thinking that's what Jason, and wasn't that his name, wanted. And so Chloe says there was this guy named Jimmy. And so then afterwards, there was this whole thing. Yeah, there was this whole PSA about
who did the
PSA. I really hope it was Allison Mack.
Did Allison do the PSA?
In a way,
sorry. That's a hat on a hat.
Just for the sake of irony and ridiculousness, I hope it was Allison Mack.
I wonder if that's actually on the episode, or if that was like a. Like at the end of Rosetta, the Christopher Reeve one.
Yeah.
That one's actually in the episode. I wonder if that's actually part of the episode now if you watch it, or if it's...
I bet it's not. I can't imagine, and I couldn't remember what episode specifically that would have been. It would have been early in season 4, though, because Lana and Jason were still a thing, and the witch hadn't quite taken hold yet.
Okay, so it was actually... It actually aired during Unsafe, which is the one where Clark and Alicia get married in Vegas, which I guess the B plot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So a quick Google search tells us that is.
There's nothing more powerful.
Stop it. Well, we're off to a very professional start.
I'll tell you what. Welcome back.
It is not part of the episode. If you watch it now. However, it is on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And moreover, it is the one and only Allison Mack.
Wow.
So while this has nothing to do with this episode, let's just take a 15-second walk down memory lane here.
Sex is too important not to talk about. Now's the time to get the right answers and to make the right decisions. Whether you're a parent or a teen, find out more at www.teenpregnancy.org.
All right, so this episode starts. I'm sorry, that's just completely out of pocket. I just had a vague memory that was a thing that happened and wanted to prove myself right. And wow, there it was. Wow.
That is.
But it's not part of the episode, but it is on YouTube for
okay.
Posterity. Steve.
Great. So, anyhow, The Heat is an episode. All the pretty people.
All the pretty people.
All the pretty, like, and that was a hallmark of WB shows and the later CW shows. And I guess, like I say, just seeing this through the lens of a 46-year-old dude now, I'm like, they really went, because in the 80s and stuff, when you would watch television, obviously it'd get attractive people, but the really super pretty people were always reserved for the soap operas or for the Dallas, for the Dynasty, for the Knots Landing, you know, all that stuff. And you'd have your teen heartthrobs on some of these sitcoms, but like this is soap opera level pretty people here.
Yeah,
that in this show, and especially when that teacher comes walking, old Desiree comes walking in for the first time to Nellie. By the way, wasn't that Nellie? It's getting hot in here.
What a soundtrack! In this
What? Yeah. Smallville known for its use of popular music.
Walking into Nellie hot in here.
You know, later on in season 3, there'd be the incredible use of Johnny Cash's "Hurt," and but here Nellie hot in here.
Krista Allen starring as Desiree.
Yeah,
who has been a number of things. Familiar face over the years, but shows up in this one as Lex's fiance. And there's that moment when after Clark sets everything on fire in the classroom, you know, and all the kids are outside and the fire trucks are there and all, and Lex pulls up and he gets out all worried and Clark has this look on his face like, I'm okay. Thanks.
Thanks. Like, you didn't have to come all the way out here, Lex.
I got to give. So this is the first day of sophomore year, and one thing that they did differently in this season 2 premiere, kind of that they haven't done before, is that the first episode of season 2 was a direct conclusion to season finale, and then we jump 3 months
right
into 202 from episode 201 to 202.
Yep.
Them going to school. Whitney's at war overseas.
Yeah.
They're filming videos for him. Lana's filming videos for him from everybody to catch him up on a ginormous camera. I was looking at that thing like classic. There's another episode I can't wait to get to where I'm like, just remind me about something very dated. Because I was just like, why are they doing this? And then I was like, oh, it's 2002. I mean, this episode aired October 1st, 2002. This is almost 21
years ago. Yeah, like literally almost 21 years ago.
Day of this recording, which is, why are we talking about it? Why are we sitting here on a Friday talking?
Because what else are we going to do?
We're doing. There's a moment though when, so you know, we're introduced to the new sex ed teacher who is not the geriatric.
Is it sex ed or is it just biology? And this just happens to be the class that they're starting out with. On also first day of school, we're going straight to this.
Yeah, it jumped right into it.
Yeah,
Sorry, biology. She's the new biology teacher. The first day of class, they are covering sex ed.
Yeah. I just don't feel like.
There you go.
I don't remember the curriculum jumping right into it.
Well, it was kind of, let's get it out of the way. Let's go ahead and we'll knock this out on day one. Also, hottest heat wave in Kansas history.
Right. Or Vancouver.
History. Everybody's in this episode. Super attractive, super sweaty people.
Yes. And I'll tell you this. I know that, you know, the South gets a bad rap, but we've got air conditioning down. You know, ain't no heat wave going to get us.
Listen, I know it's a trope on television, like that dads are always like, don't touch the air conditioning unit. I'm the one that always turns down the air conditioner.
Right.
Like, yes, I know it's going to cost money, but I'd rather be comfortable.
Yes, I know it's going to cost money, and I hope they burn in hell.
So did they not have air conditioning at the Kent farm at all, or does he just keep it turned off? I mean, I've been there. There's air conditioning.
Right. I feel like this is one of those things, because if you go a little north, air conditioning is not necessarily a given.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's the case in the Midwest. All right, Kansasians, please let us know.
Kansasians?
Kansasians. Isn't that how it said? Kansasians? Kansasians.
Kansasians.
I remember Perry White said Kansasians.
Did he?
Yeah.
In Perry?
Yeah. No, he was drunk.
Was.
Yeah.
We'll get that.
Well, since we're jumping around and talking about all the other future episodes, I mean, mine as well.
So there was a connection there. Somewhat, maybe? No?
Yes. Of course there was.
I was struck by a memory and I wanted to follow through on it.
I gotcha.
Sorry, it won't happen.
That was me that was struck by the memory.
Oh, well, did it hurt?
No. My point is this. It was hot in Kansas.
Really hot that day. And 16-year-old Clark. Yep.
Kryptonian biology isn't that much different from human biology when it comes to the hormonal stuff.
Apparently, yes. Even Martha's like, maybe it's hormones.
Martha got it.
On John on the spot.
There is the uncomfortable, and here's the thing. I have the memory, like you talked about, having not seen this in so long. My memory is of these episodes where he would get new powers is that X-Ray was actually a good episode. Tina Greer was a great villain. It was the headaches and the learning, and there was stuff in there. The other episodes, I remembered Heat being a good, compelling episode. He gets his heat vision. That's amazing. But then you've got the super hearing episode, Whisper, in season 3, I believe it's called, and that's not really the best. Though he does get to be Blind Clark. And then there's the super breath, which comes about by him getting a cold, all the way in season 6, I believe. And it's called Sneeze.
It's called Sneeze. It's the one after.
So, but I just feel like, so really him getting the powers episodes weren't that great outside of X-Ray.
They were legacy episodes. And I guess, as you said to begin with, both of these back-to-back are legacy episodes because of what happens in Duplicity as well.
Right.
I believe they just did Heat on Well, they did both of these on Talkville recently. I believe Rosenbaum said this was probably the worst episode of the series, which I disagree with completely.
Any episode that's not good, Rosenbaum says is probably the worst of the series.
But there's far worse than this episode. I don't even think this is a bad episode. I just forgot how completely out of pocket some of this is.
Yes, so to speak.
The scarecrow, the maybe this would be better if I was alone, set to Elvis, that whole thing. And there's just take that versus the pocket knife one from X-Ray. That's two scenes. It's very different. But right out of the gate here, when they're in the classroom, before everything starts getting heated, I love there's a moment where Clark is checking out the teacher. He's turning around, and she tells him to look at she motions for him to look at the screen, and he's like, yep, and he starts looking around, playing off completely. That he was looking at her. It's very, very good moment for Tom a year into this show. But yes, we do find out that she's engaged to Lex. She's kind of the Poison Ivy almost. Gives me Robin 97.
Yeah.
A little bit, but yes, she's lied about who she is. She's actually Desiree. She's from Smallville. I forgot what she was doing when the meteor shower hit. I forgot about that. I forgot about how explicit Martha and Jonathan were with some of their dialogue toward Clark in this episode. I forgot that she kissed Jonathan.
That whole thing, man, like, that's Jonathan Kent and his integrity, like, just on display, you know, from when she gets out of that pool and he's just unfazed until she, like, gets up on him and kisses him or whatever.
All at her and all that. Prefer to do this dressed. I do love that, and I don't obviously I don't think that part was, but this was also in the heyday of filming on location. The wedding scene was actually filmed at the castle.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I love back when they would actually film on vacation versus getting into season 8 and we had that one street of Metropolis.
Right. That was a lot. Was that not a set?
Yeah, it was on studio, but it was just that one street.
Right.
Let's film it from this angle. Now let's go under that pass by the train tracks.
Like the Lois and Clark days.
Yeah, very much so.
But you do have like the whole Lex being controlled by the pheromones and all this stuff that, you know, anytime in this show you would begin to see some kind of schism between Clark and Lex, especially the first time watching through, because you didn't know how long this show was going to last. You're thinking, is this it? Is this the moment? Is this what, you know? And obviously it's not. We've got a few more years of them being buddies, but you know, the whole, anytime they get scenes together, even when Lex is under her spell, like when he confronts Clark about her meeting him in the barn or whatever, when they're in his office and playing pool and all, it's just, Welling and Rosenbaum did have a great chemistry, and those characters had a great chemistry together on screen, regardless if there was the tension of Clark hiding the secret, the our stuff is the friendship of legends kind of stuff, or, you know, Lex, like, what the heck, Clark, you know?
Yeah, very much so. I was trying to think. So obviously she can have effect on everybody, which she only uses it on 2 people in the episode, right? Because she can't control Clark.
Yeah. Yeah, she used it on Jonathan. She used it on Lex. She tries to use it on Clark.
Right.
They did not push the envelope for her to use it on Chloe or Lana, so that was good.
In that direction. There's also a lot of pining in this episode because we've got Lana doing the video for Whitney and whether or not she's going to break up with him, and you know, we're kind of left on that cliffhanger at the end. Crazy to think that in 2002 days that was a cliffhanger.
But you also have the tension of Chloe and Clark, with Chloe getting back from Metropolis and having not heard from Clark all summer long. And she's pining for, you know, you talk about pining, she's pining for Clark, and Clark's still kind of pining for Lana. And so there's this weird love triangle. Of course, that's going to end up in Chloe, you know, getting burned and being an idiot down the road.
No pun intended for the episode Heat, not for idiot.
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah, right.
To put that out there. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
Wow. Okay. So had that not gone down in 2017?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we were just better people. No, I think we had our fair share of, you know, she's out now. She's surf time. We're not worried about it.
Is she not? She didn't have like an ankle bracelet on or something?
I believe so.
Oh.
She got out on good behavior.
Wow.
So.
Does she realize how crazy she is?
I don't know. I haven't talked to her.
Look, you can cut this out if you want to. I don't tend to edit when I do things, though.
No.
Have you watched any of those documentaries?
I watched the HBO Max one.
Yeah, I watched the first season of that.
Not watched the one that was on Stars. I think there was another one.
Yeah,
sequel. So there was another one. There was like the Val 2 Electric Boogaloo or something. I didn't watch that one.
I watched the one on HBO Max. That was more of a docuseries, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I don't know. I remember back when she did a sit-down interview with that dude, and I was like, this guy's just an idiot. He's just a manipulative kind of dude. And then as you watch that documentary, like anytime someone would say something like, this show had a lot of pretty people in it. Well, does it have pretty people, or is that the perception of I'm sorry, what? No, it has pretty people in it. This show does. Oh, okay. Yeah, but he would question everything everyone said, and that apparently makes him a genius. And I'm like, no, you're manipulative. You're a manipulative shrew of a man.
So anyway, in this episode,
so I'm just wondering if she realizes she got duped, or if she's still into it.
no, I don't know that she's. I'm sure at some point she'll sell an interview. It won't be with Shu.
I'd do it.
I'm sure you would.
I'd say it's time. We're going to ask hard questions.
So Desiree's trying to kill Lex for his money.
Yes.
And she goes to Clark's loft to seduce him, but because she's going to have Clark do it, and there's no effect. Her powers have no effect over him, and he's not going to give up on this because he tries to tell Lex, what she did. And of course, she's already gone and told him first that Clark came onto her,
right?
So that, as you said, that pits them at odds. And Clark's still pushing this thing. So later, here's the thing. So she's going to frame him for all these fires and everything, despite the fact that he is actually the one causing them. So she torches her car. Closed it up. And I'm watching this last night, and I'm like, why is she driving a 99 Libera?
Well, because she wasn't rich yet.
I know, but then I was like, oh, this is 2002. That's still technically a new car.
Oh, yeah.
That's John Voight's LeBaron.
That's John Voight's Chrysler LeBaron.
And I was like, why is she? So, but wouldn't Lex have already bought her a new ride, you think? Even still?
Maybe.
Jumped off the screen at me. I was like, why is she driving this? And I was like, oh, it's only a 2-year-old car or a 3-year-old.
She probably would have felt weird driving some kind of big sports car into the parking lot of the school. Probably. She's probably like, Lex, this is all I need.
Already had the vanity tags.
Yeah. Hot for teacher.
So essentially she ends up Jonathan goes to the mansion, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this might be the only episode where Jonathan is ever, at least in Lex's office.
No, there was Kelvin.
Kelvin?
Yeah. Or whatever it was called. Chill, where the boy gets frozen and him and Martha go to talk to Lex about the business proposal.
Oh, were they in the office then?
They were in the office then. And then the later on when there's another wedding, something's going on where
when he marries
Helen Bryce.
That's at a church though.
But don't they have like a reception or a rehearsal dinner at the mansion, and they're in the office, and that's where Jonathan gives him the compass or whatever?
Ooh. I can't remember. I do remember it being I do remember there being a rehearsal dinner, but I don't know if it was at the mansion or not. The visual of him standing in the office just was off to me.
Yeah.
I was like, I've seen this, but obviously I'm wrong.
Well, he's standing there with a gun.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not why it was off.
Oh.
I mean, how many times by this point has he been brainwashed and brandishing a shotgun? Two. At least.
Well, there's that whole Nicodemus thing.
I'm talking about. Your wife keeps it in a box on the fireplace mantle or whatever. All I've ever done for this town is give, and they screw me over. So yeah, she's gonna have Jonathan kill Lex. Clark is in jail. He creates another fire to get out of jail.
Yeah, that's the ironic thing. It's like, so we got this kid in for starting fires, and somehow there's a fire that he gets out because of.
Ethan's like, now you stay close to me, son. Clark. Now, he ran away, and they were like, "Well, you saved Lex, so we're going to let you off."
Well, Lex has some of the best lawyers.
True, but obviously, we've learned by the end of this that Desiree has been controlling and manipulating everybody.
Right.
I will say this is probably the first power where he gets a pretty good handle on it by, no pun intended, by the halfway through the episode.
A little less than halfway through, it seems like, because he had to. I mean, obviously, this is something he was desperate to get a handle on with the old scarecrow and everything. But, yeah, you know, it really does play into the rest of it. I think if I'm recalling an X-ray, like that was kind of the big moment of Act 2, was him getting control of the thing. Or maybe I'm thinking of Whisper again, where there's the whole.
He's blind for a good part of Whisper, and then he's got the glasses when his vision does back, and we were all like, "Is this it?" Yes.
Of course, that's down the road, at least, you know, a year.
Got it. Those weren't.
When we get back together in 2040, we'll still be talking about looking forward to seeing Whisper.
I was watching Promise, and I realized that was Lex's third wedding.
You know, when you look at this whole show as a whole, it's something pretty special.
It's a relationship, Steve.
Who am I?
You know what's sad is we'll be in the nursing home and we'll be doing bits from Shoe.
That's right.
Like, you think people have lost their mind, but really they're just calling back inside jokes.
That's right. Wow, in 2040, I'll be like 63.
We'll just be sitting there going, Tron?
Yeah, Tron. Yeah. We didn't create that one.
Mole?
Wow.
Calling for someone named Edna. I think she's someone from his past.
Edna! Jello!
Cue the music.
Oh, yeah. What music, Mr. Russell?
Play Cisco.
Play Cisco.
Whatever it was in this episode.
Nelly.
So later in the series, when we're introduced to Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, James Bartholomew.
Mm-hmm.
We find out that Chloe lost. Well, okay, hold on. Let's go back. So we will tie this into Unsafe, because it does actually all connect. Ha! I wasn't just jumping all over the place. So in Unsafe, Chloe tells Lana that she
in Metropolis, in her time in Metropolis, someone named Jimmy,
who have a cute boy with a bow tie.
Yep.
During her Daily Planet internship, and she tells Clark, not the verbatim, but also there's a hot guy. But then she later says she made it up to Lana just to make Clark jealous. But are we to believe that was Jimmy?
I wouldn't. I don't know why we wouldn't.
Conded into Jimmy later into the series.
Yeah. Hey, we are missing. There is something we do get a Martha Lex scene that we don't normally get when they're in the Talon.
In the Talon, we don't get Martha in the Talon just a whole lot. I know sometimes, but especially just the two of them and her kind of dressing Lex down on this whole thing on not trusting Clark.
Well, she's always so much in Lex's corner. To see her get confrontational with him, it was unique. And of course, Annette O'Toole is always great in everything, you know, in what she does in this show. But that was just, to me, that was a particularly interesting scene and really good. Like, she went full Mama Bear in a lot of ways, you know, as much as Martha can. So,
and what was the line Lex said? It was like, I would never come between you and Mr. Kent. Please, you know, take sides between you and Mr. Kent. Please don't do that between me and my wife.
Right. And she comes right back, though, because that's where she says you met and married her in like a week.
Yeah.
And so, so she comes right back on him on that.
There has to be a level of disagreement, and you're not disagreeing at all. I did also find it was funny. Of course, there's so many heat jokes and everything in this episode that when Lex comes to apologize in the loft at the end, Clark's reading Fahrenheit 451. I'm like, did you just pick that up?
Yeah.
That was just happened to be what you were. Oh, everything going on lately? I should read this. Okay, so but the most out of pocket moment of the entire episode to me, and then I guess we can move on. I don't know. How are our truck and window stats?
Wow, I completely forgot the window. From the window to the walls, I haven't been able to see if it has the L on it or not. We're good on trucks. There was no trucks destroyed. Now I forget where we were on the trucks.
At the end of every episode, no trucks were harmed. At the
right.
Is when once Clark has the handle on the ability on the heat vision, he's just in the kitchen heating up some Jiffy Pop. And have to think about sex. Like, I don't remember this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I blocked it out or what, but I don't remember a bit of it.
Yeah.
But that was heat.
Well, now here's the thing: when you come to heat, there is something like, I think one of the reasons I remember this episode, it's not a bad episode, but I think one of the reasons I remember it as being so epic is because for the first time in Superman on screen, heat vision is not portrayed as laser beams coming out of his eyes.
Right, and we always really liked that. I remember you and I.
Oh, I love the heat vision.
In fact, it's even a little bit more fiery here than what it becomes down the line.
Right. But just the idea of the heat waves coming out instead of like red laser beams, I think it just, to me, it makes more sense from a, hey, how'd that happen kind of standpoint. You don't have Clark having to look away or make someone look away when he shoots a red laser out of his face,
Well, during, because we always, wondered if could others see the heat vision happening, and then it's actually in another Lex wedding episode in Promise where we see everything from Lana's POV, see him welding the door back on that Chloe was locked into, and see the smoke or whatever. You don't actually see happening, but that shot of him melting the bullet, is pretty iconic from to me throughout the series.
Well, it would end up being in some of the opening credits, wouldn't it? Down the road,
definitely
maybe it's the DVD menu I'm thinking of.
But it would have just been the season 2 DVD,
right?
They were all
right.
Season, yeah. But at least from there,
let me back up here real quick because just to go back to the window thing, there is the whole confrontation that's taking place in the office there with Jonathan and them, and of course Lex gets put on fire by Desiree, and Clark puts him out with the red blanket. There is an L in the window.
An L in the window, but no Veritas.
No Veritas.
Good to know. Anything else from Heat?
The heat vision is cool. They went on to use that same style of heat vision in Superman Returns, as you well know.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know I can't remember any of the Snyder stuff. Did they have heat vision ever? Did that ever come up in those movies?
I remember, obviously, when Zod first...
That's right.
The torch hits that's how Wayne Enterprises crumbles to the ground.
And that was more laser beamy.
Yeah, I mean, it was more...
It wasn't red lasers out of Christopher Reeve's eyes.
But it was not quite the Smallville fire either.
Which I like the more subtle heat vision. I like that the heat waves coming out of the eyes because... Now, Derek, let me just bit of Superman trivia. Do you know where heat vision came about in the original comics and everything?
Go ahead.
Well, he had X-ray vision.
Right.
And he just was intensifying the X-ray radiation and focusing it more into heat. So it was a spin-off of the X-ray vision, was the heat vision.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go.
It was loved in George Reeves' Adventure of Superman when he would use it through his glasses.
Of course. Yes. I think George Reeves' Adventure of Superman is a little underrated, by the way. That's the show we should be watching.
Okay, well, let's just...
Let's change.
When he leaves those crooks on that mountain in that one episode, because they find out that Clark Kent is Superman, he doesn't kill them, but he takes them up to like the edge of like they're literally on the ledge of a mountain. And he says, I'm going to leave you here. I'll bring you food and everything you need, but you'll never get down. You're never going to let this. So they try to climb down and they fall off. That's how the episode ends. They fall down the mountain where Superman left them. So Clark, it's in the black and white season.
Black and white seasons. I found something cool during lockdown. I started going back through a bunch of my old VHS tapes and digitizing them.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Found my September 1991, again, almost to the day, Nick at Night tape when Adventures of Superman premiered on Nick at Night.
Nice.
They had a weekend marathon. They showed like all of season 1 of Adventures of Superman, all the black and whites, all the Fleischer cartoons, and they showed Mole Men for the first time on television, uncut. It was, because it's a two-parter.
Yeah.
Show. They showed it as it was in theaters. So
that whole series was a real surprise to me when I finally picked it up on DVD when it came out, because I thought, am I really going to enjoy this? And I found myself, because they all came out like each year, seemingly around Christmas, and I ended up getting those for Christmas a couple of years in a row. And I found myself just the week between Christmas and New Year's just kind of binging the DVDs of that, and I really enjoyed that series as a whole.
I grew up watching that, like I said, on Nick at Night, 6, 7 years old, starting to watch that, and then from there, not too long later, came Lois and Clark.
Yeah,
and so that's obviously a big part of my my Superman childhood.
So when it comes to Heat, what do you think of it?
What are we rating on, a 5?
I don't know. We've never really rated, but I'm just kind of curious as to your thought process of like, does it hold up? Is it good? Is
one of the episodes that, while extremely hokey, is that a good adjective?
Yeah.
Is that a use? It's still extremely fun versus some that were just terrible. In the show where it's like where if it was that same kind of vibe, it just wouldn't come off quite as well. I don't know if I give it a pass because it is a ability / legacy episode or not, but I thoroughly like sometimes I'm like, do I really want to watch a Smallville episode? Like, just after this many years and devote so much time to it and sweat and tears over the years, it's like, and so I was kind of glad this was the first one to get back into, because it's real. Like I was laughing like I out loud on a couple of places. So I thoroughly enjoyed this one for what it was.
I think
I've really cared for Duplicity.
Really,
I haven't. And I guess we'll that in a minute. But
we'll move to that. I think I agree with you. I was shocked by the blatantness of some of the references, and like you say, what was on the screen when Clark first got his heat vision, and the way the heat vision worked even in that moment was really,
I mean, it's one thing for it to be lions humping,
right?
But when there was a video of sperm, wow, we're just not even trying,
right. And so I think that that it was an interesting concept as the way it came about, but being 2002 and pretty people and just the focus, it was kind of weird. And like you say, the cliffhanger of the Lana will she, won't she kind of thing with Whitney, that shows you these teeny bopper television shows, what they were really going for with the WB back in the day. Overall, I mean, it's a fun episode. I'll take it.
To Avril Lavigne, too. I mean, that last... when she starts to say something and it cuts off, it goes to the executive producer, Al Goff. Week seeing that. But yeah, well, I think it was Avril Lavigne was playing, and I was like, woo! That's 2002.
That's
I cut
right.
you off.
That's right. So I think I give it a pass as well because of the power, because of the new look of the heat vision. Like there was obviously some creativity and everything that went into that. And I disagree with you moving in this next episode. I think Duplicity is actually a pretty good episode. If for no other reason than Dr. Hamilton.
Man, he can't get a break.
No.
Actor. He cannot. He can never, ever catch a break in any franchise he lands himself in. What is his name? Joe
Piscopo.
No. Joe Morton.
Yeah, Joe Morton, Dr. Hamilton.
Always, whether it be Terminator 2 or then obviously he comes back as Cyborg's father.
Yes, yes. I forgot about him being Cyborg's dad in the Justice League. Wow. Yeah, Terminator 2 is really kind of the place where I recognize him, I guess, the most from outside of Smallville, of course. But what he does in this episode, man, is like, it's obviously there's a callback to Jitters, right, with Candyman. But what he does in this episode is so, he just says, I'm going to go in there and chew up the scenery, and
sure did.
And I appreciate him for it, So now the dude at the beginning, the whole teaser, the guy getting the sunflower seeds and everything, he reminds me, like, I want him to be coming in wearing an Edgar suit, like I expect him to be sitting in the hospital being like, I want sugar water. He wants sugar water. Look like he was wearing an Edgar suit.
He spit the sunflower seeds on the window. I don't remember that at all.
Oh, yeah, that was gross. Yeah.
Aunt Nell hooking up, this being the introduction, really, of the boyfriend that she ends up moving off with. Mm-hmm. I did not remember Lionel moving in with Lex in this episode. Of course, him still being blind, obviously. He wasn't in Heat, so we've not seen him since Tempest.
Right.
Vortex.
Yep. Yep. When he's like, I would have made the same decision. We've been wrong because I'm blind.
Yeah.
And Lex's response to that is, I will now walk away from you in horror.
As one does. But again, this is one I'll go out on a limb. Maybe since the DVDs came out, have not revisited Duplicity, and I don't know if I didn't remember really liking it at the time or not. But a little of Pete goes a long way in this episode. I remember the very iconic Clark in the rearview mirror and him speeding off, and then him looking back in the rearview mirror and Clark not being there anymore, right, and then stopping the car. We need to talk, Pete. We need to talk. The episodes where people found out and it was a lasting out. I mean, I've always considered them to be legacy episodes.
Well, yeah. I mean, Chloe finds out
in season 4.
But she finds out long before she lets Clark know. Is it Blank where she finds out?
No, it's either Unsafe or Pariah, because it's Alicia that.
That's right. That's right.
This is going to be fun going back through this and trying to regain some of the things I've lost here. But she obviously doesn't tell Clark until Arrival.
Right.
501.
Right. I know you're faster than a speeding bullet, Clark, so get me out of here.
Finds out in season 6, Promise, in the wedding episode.
Yeah.
For good. I don't know. The episode where Lois finds out, it's just it's the like the last thing in the episode. So I don't know that that's really when he tells her.
When he tells her and she tackles him.
She's like, "What took you so long?" and all that. Well, she finds. I take that back because she finds out in Salvation.
I'll be honest with you.
Lazarus, season 10.
I'll be honest with you. From season 7's finale to the end of the series,
Fortress is their logo.
Yeah, there's a blank for me. I remember.
8, 9, and 10 are just kind of a wash for you.
I remember our bits.
Sure.
You know,
I'll straight up tell you, season 10 I watched as it aired and then never again.
Yeah, I
Not
haven't.
for and then just I didn't. So I don't know any of that.
That's where I'm at too.
I'm still my most strongest. That's not a term. Seasons 3, 4, and 5 are still my most intact memories. I think to the point that I might be able to do those episode titles, but I can't do any of the other ones.
For me, it's seasons 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Are the ones that I know the most, and then season 5 I can start to piece together. Oh yeah. And season 4, it's like, oh, I remember. Okay, yeah, you know. But just seasons 1, 2, and 3, I could just about. You could name the episode, and though I may not know the name, if you tell me what it's about, then I'm in. I can probably cite you some moments. Like for Duplicity, I always remember Hamilton like wiping the sweat off his head and smacking it onto Pete's head.
My problem was season 2 had a bunch of, if I'm not mistaken, had a lot of ones that started with the letter D. Maybe it didn't.
Bunch of D's?
Maybe a bunch of D's.
Well, you had like Duplicity and Redux, and then you had Skinwalker.
So there's some winners in season 2.
Well, season 2 is interesting because like this whole we start of course with Tempest, which you have to do to come back from that season finale of season 1, but then you go directly into Heat, which is I like the term legacy episode, with the powers and everything. I like that term that you're giving it. And then from there, the rest of the season is really kind of like, now how do we go from being Freak of the Week to something with a little more substance moving along? And so it's this weird kind of stumbling that they go through of trying to figure everything out and how do we get the mythology of Krypton in here without being too blatant? And then suddenly there's Rosetta.
Because season 1 has what, maybe 2 legacy episodes? 3? If you don't include a finale in there and the pilot.
Yeah.
Flash, you've got X-Ray. I know Zero gives you more Lex backstory, but I wouldn't call that a legacy episode.
No, that's just backstory and everything. Also, I've got this episode going real quick, and I'm sorry, I'm about to really go way off the rails. The establishing shot of the Talon, where it kind of comes down from the roof of the Talon and it's that red building with the gold and the black stripes. I always thought, man, we're going to get Plastic Man one of these days in Smallville, and he's going to blend in with the Talon.
You did. I remember that. I'm looking through season 1 episodes just to refresh myself. I mean, really, you've got Pilot, which, I mean, is a Freak of the Week. Metamorphosis, Freak of the Week. Hothead, Freak of the Week. X-Ray, Freak of the Week, but a legacy episode.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, Freak of the Week. Hourglass, yes, Freak of the Week, but also I would say a legacy episode. Would you not?
Yeah, because of the vision of Lex and everything in the future.
Yeah. Well, even Clark in the cemetery, surrounded by.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So Hourglass, yes. Craving, obviously. If you asked me, like, what is a poster child of a Freak of the Week episode, that's probably the one I would pull.
Yeah.
Jitters, Freak of the Week.
Jitters is Freak of the Week, but Jitters plays into the overall mythology of the show itself, the containment of the show with level 3 and the kryptonite and everything. So it's not a legacy, but I think it lives on a little bit of a different level than just the Freak of the Week.
Higher tier there than just being a Freak of the Week,
Mm-hmm.
because it being so kryptonite heavy.
Yep.
Rogue is one of my favorite episodes.
Oh, Rogue is great.
It's not a Freak of the Week episode, but I would not consider it a legacy episode either. Shimmer, Freak of the Week.
I always forget Shimmer exists.
It's easy to forget.
God, that's a forgettable one.
But you can't even see him for half the episode.
That's right.
Hey, I made you laugh. Hug.
Rickman got to him.
Leech, Freak of the Week. Well, yeah. I mean, it is.
Yeah. Let me back up to Hug real quickly though. Hug is a great episode.
Fantastic episode.
And it's got the "Our Stuff is a Friendship of Legends" line at the end.
Lit him up with that Uzi.
That's right.
Lit him up with that Uzi. Kinetic Freak of the Week. Zero, not Freak of the Week, but not a legacy. Is Zero the one with all the dead cattle?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is.
Nicodemus is Freaks of the Week.
Yeah, but it also kind of plays into the effects of kryptonite and everything, which is going to come again a little bit of a touch of the mythology. It's almost an X-Files mythology episode.
Yeah, I give you that. Stray, not legacy.
But it really sets up some stuff that'll come into play later.
I say all that to say, sitting here go one by one, except for like 3. All of these are Freak of the Week.
Yep. And that's not to say they're not some good stories.
It's just that was the precedent set, and as you said, we get into season 2, and yes, Heat had a Freak of the Week, but was a legacy. Duplicity, I don't know, it's on that same level of jitters. I don't know that you would call Dr. Hamilton a Freak of the Week.
I don't think so,
but it's a legacy episode. I would call Red a legacy episode, and I'm excited to revisit Red.
This is the first, because that's the first introduction to red kryptonite, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nocturne,
Freak of the Week, man. That has to be a leftover from season 1's writing room.
Redux is a legacy.
Redux, is it a legacy? Is Redux not the one with the aging cheerleader?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's a cheerleader that sucks age. This is a leftover from season 1.
His lineage. The reason I remember Redux is because it's got Martha's dad, and I was always mad that they didn't cast Gene Hackman.
Right. Oh yeah. And also Redux has George Washington Duke, and from Rocky Five. And Redux has Maggie Lawson. She plays the Freak of the Week, Juliet from Psych.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one thing I do remember about Redux, and I say I remember because now I'm second guessing myself, is I believe it was the first thing filmed of the season in production order.
It was a leftover from season 1. It was one they didn't get finished in season 1. They had to slip it into season 2.
So then you've got Lineage, which heavy legacy.
Yes. Yep.
Ryan.
Yep.
Backs up on Stray from season 1. Dichotic. Freak of the Week. Skinwalker's Freak of the Week.
But Skinwalker opens up the whole cave mythology.
It does. Sure. But it's still Freak of the Week.
It is still Freak of the Week, but it's kicking off something that's going to play down into Rosetta especially, but even beyond into season 4.
Fair. I'll give you that. That is honestly one I've also not revisited in some time. Insurgents, quite possibly my favorite episode of the series. Definitely a legacy episode.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about Suspect.
Suspect is a good episode though. It's one of those good like mystery things.
It's in that same vein. Rush, that's more red kryptonite.
That's right.
Prodigal, meh. How many Luthers can there be? Fever.
When you hold me.
Really, when you go Fever to Rosetta. I mean, how far apart can you get from well, no, because Fever's actually a pretty good episode, isn't it?
It is. It's a great lead in.
Because Martha's so sick.
And Clark gets sick.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And this is where the ship comes into play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, the last few of these really get good.
Also, we forgot to play the game Where's the Key? When last we left, the key was
lost.
Was lost in the storm.
It's still lost.
Yes, as far as we know.
Until Insurgents.
Insurgents, yeah.
And we find out how Lionel got it.
No.
It was in the ship.
Right.
And then it broke off.
The tornado got hit. The ship got hit by lightning.
because they talk about the octagonal disc a lot in this episode,
Mm-hmm.
and we never see it again until we find out Lionel's got it in his safe,
Right.
and that he's lying about being blind. Yeah, you've got a lot of good ones in a row here, and then you get to Accelerate, which was not a good episode.
Is that the ghost girl?
Little Girl in the Rain. Yeah.
See, I feel like that's one of those things where like we're going to set something up here with the cloning and everything, and it just kind of fizzled out, except for the one episode in season 3. It was kind of a follow-up episode.
Which one was that?
It was when Emily was grown up. Little girl was all grown up now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot that. I have forgotten more than I remember. So this is actually good for my memory to go back.
Yeah. Anyhow, back to Duplicity.
Sorry. Train left the station a long time ago there. But you like this episode.
I do. I like Dr. Hamilton in this episode. I like Pete finding out. I don't like the Brady Bunch ending when they're all in the kitchen and it's all like, what he's saying is welcome to the family, and they have the kind of little laugh moment or whatever. But I was really glad for Pete to find out, and I feel like this is one of those episodes that holds up to me. You're right. A little Pete goes a long way, like Sam Jones is having a good time when he's on this show, but.
Oh, and I don't dislike Pete. I never have. Right. I thought he was, and I don't know how I'd react, but I thought he was kind of a jerk once he finds out. And Clark's like, I don't want to tell anybody because I'm afraid they're going to look at me like you're looking at me.
Like you're looking at me right now, yeah.
Like I'm a freak. And I, the two of them down in the cellar always makes me think of that blooper from the finale.
Oh, yeah. Does it hurt?
Got the symbol burned into him, and he touches it, and Tom's like, ah!
Yeah.
Sam just back.
But, like, you have this whole conflict between them, between those two about this whole situation. And then, so when Pete is basically about to be killed by Dr. Hamilton, he's about to inject him with that liquid kryptonite. Pete basically comes around and you think, well, maybe he'll turn Clark in, and he says, you can stick that needle any place you want to, because I'm not telling you a D thing. And, Pete steps up. And so I like Clark getting another confidant outside of his parents. I like that Pete does come around, and I like the journey to getting there, because rather than, hey, this is really cool, Pete struggles with, like, we've been friends forever, and there's been all these times where things have happened, and you just couldn't be honest with me. And for Pete, it comes down to, you couldn't be honest with me, which is really interesting as we move through the series and we come to those other moments of how people respond, to finding out what the other responses end up being, and I think that out of all of them, Pete having been Clark's lifelong friend, having all these things, like, there is a little bit of, I don't think he's scared of Clark as being an alien. It really comes down to, you could have trusted me. I wish you would have trusted me.
Right. Tim and I were talking about, well, I can't remember which episode the other day, but we were going back and forth over one, and he said, I always wondered why Chloe never thought Clark was a meteor freak, like why that never jumped to her. And I said, well, to me, it's the parallel of Lois never realizing Clark is Superman. Mm-hmm. It's right in front of your face, and you never got it before. And I'd say the same thing with Pete here. But I do think he kind of goes, I get the betrayal, I guess, the feeling of being betrayed, of being lied to, but at the same time, it's like there has to be some logic to that. Of, I can fully understand why this is such a close kept secret. I did not understand why, once Clark tells Jonathan and Martha that he told Pete, why Jonathan's first reaction is not to go talk to Pete. That seems
right.
a very Kent thing to me. Of, all right, let's go over there. Let's call him over here, and let's all sit down together.
Let's threaten him.
It's a good way to wrap up the episode, and all of them together and on the same page. But that seemed like a very Jonathan thing to me. It's like, okay, I got to go. Now I get to go talk to him. If he's mad at you, let's go explain to him why this should not be.
Right. That's a good point, because Jonathan is usually pretty wise, but again, you have to have some kind of way to wrap up everything at the end with what's going on.
Him being kind of a dick to Clark in front of Chloe.
Oh yeah.
Talking about the spaceship and meta alien, and he looks a lot like Clark and all that stuff. So
yeah, it is but you have to have that tension there, like I say, for that moment at the end to really pay off when he stands by his man, so to speak, and he, and so you get all this tension building up to that. But I can understand Pete's motivation of being upset that Clark hasn't trusted him all this time, more than I can understand when we get to the end of the season, Chloe saying, "All right, Lionel, I'll do a whole full expose on Clark Kent for you."
Or what? Yeah, fully. And also, I think one thing I did like, but also I guess it is one thing that brings Pete around, is Clark tries to save Dr. Hamilton, even though Dr. Hamilton was trying to do, and Clark's like, I can't disassociate that. Like I have to still try to save somebody, whether they're trying to hurt me or not.
Right. There's a responsibility that goes along with it. And that weight really settles in. And that's one of the reasons I think this is a legacy episode. Well, it really, to me, works as a legacy episode because you see that responsibility. We've seen Clark continuously try to save people. When he speaks it out loud as to, this is why I'm doing this, that plays into that character of Superman down the road. Superman, that to me, that's one of the more interesting things about a lot of the DC characters, particularly Superman and Batman, is the whole idea of superheroes not killing come from the avoidance of all that crap in the 50s, with the comic books on trial and that sort of thing, with the Comics Code Authority. So you have, what was the dude's name? DC Comics editor step in at the time and give the rules. Our characters don't kill, and that became so ingrained to the character of Superman that now in the, down the road, writers would say, well, here's why he doesn't, it's his upbringing, it's this, it's that. And here it's like, it's this sense of responsibility I have. I don't get to choose who lives or dies. That's not, but if I can save them, I will. And I think that's just it's a great outlook for Superman down the road, especially in 2002, when we're coming off of, with great power comes great responsibility, Spider-Man and all. Right. So
his name's not Jim Spider-Man.
No, it's not. You're right. It's Spider-Man 2.
It's Jim Spider-Man 2. This was a Todd Slavkin and Darren Swimmer episode, who would eventually go on to be showrunners.
Yep.
Later on, so interesting tidbit there as well.
They would run the show season 8.
Did Brian and Kelly have it 9 and so there were 4? So it was Brian and Kelly and Todd and Darren for one season, I think.
Right.
Just Brian and Kelly for 9 and 10.
When did Al and Miles leave? They left in 7, right?
Left at 7.
The big exodus.
Nicole and Kristen. That was a reference I meant to make talking about Heat, and I forgot that Lana has a long-standing history of filming videoing breakups on outdated physical media.
Yes. Goodbye, Clark.
That happens in Arctic.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Or after Veritas. Yeah, Arctic. So, yeah, I didn't dislike it. Obviously, there's episodes I dislike way more than Duplicity. I think for it being such a big episode, like I said, I remember that shot of them standing in the cornfield together and Clark pretending that that them talking about Clark pretending the ship was heavy and all of this, and him and Jonathan going and getting the ship and Pete being pissed about that. But I don't know. I guess I had completely. If you had asked me yesterday, what happens in Duplicity? First of all, I'd have to remember which one Duplicity was.
Right.
Then I would say I always got Duplicity and Dichotic backward, and I don't know why, because Duplicity is about lying, and everybody's lying throughout this episode. Lana and Chloe are lying, like everybody's telling a lie in this episode. So that should be the key. But then there's those episode titles throughout the series that had nothing to do with what was actually going on for that one episode title. But anyway, if you had asked me what Duplicity was, I would have said, oh yeah, Pete finds out and the ship and that's all I would have not remembered Dr. Hamilton's involvement. Like you said, you remembered him,
Oh yeah, the slapping, the rubbing the sweat off as it's slapping Pete
head and all that. I that would not have come to me at all because I forgot Dr. Hamilton came back around, honestly.
Yeah.
At all. And then of course it ends up not being the Dr. Hamilton we know from the comics.
Right.
Whether thought it was at the time or not, since he's dead.
Well, isn't he's not Emil Hamilton?
I think Stephen.
I was going to say, I think it's Stephen Hamilton. And
you're Dr. Hamilton and you're a Superman fan. You're like, oh, is this, what we're going? Does he eventually come back and is redeemed somewhat? But no.
But Emil Hamilton will come in later on.
Yeah. In season 9.
How do you do?
Do you do? We'll get 2040.
How do you do?
You do. Yeah. So if we were giving ratings, I'd give out of 4. I'd give Heat 3 out of 4. I'd give this one 2 out of 4.
Reverse that. Turn upside down. I'd give Heat 2 out of 4 and this 3 out of 4.
Like this one more than Heat.
I do. I like
funny to me. Like Heat has some genuinely, in a show that doesn't always get to have comedic moments, has some genuinely not. I don't know. Now looking at it in a 21 year later lens, maybe it's not supposed to be funny. I don't. I still crack up when the Scarecrow just ignites and Jonathan starts laughing. Like that still gets me.
Yeah. It is funny in the American Pie generation. It is funny. You're right. But to me, Duplicity, it's the interaction with all the characters and how you do have these conversations like you've got Lana and the boyfriend and Nell that she doesn't want to face. You got Lex not wanting to face his dad living at the mansion. You got Clark and Pete having their things. And everyone's trying to not say what they're really thinking or feeling. And ultimately, that's kind of the theme of the overall show is Clark's keeping this secret and the relationships, if one conversation, one piece of honesty could save so much. And really, Smallville ends up throughout the course of the series positing this interesting question that had Clark told Lex, would Lex had gone the way he went, is Clark's betrayal of Lex one of the perceived betrayal, is that one of the things that pushes Lex to the dark side, so to speak? And this toys around with that with Pete a little bit and everything. And so I think that this gives me more of what I want out of a Superman or a Clark Kent show than what Heat does.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm
not mad about it. I'm not mad at you for it.
Like you are. You sound so angry right now.
Well, listen, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. And I'd like to apologize to everyone because I just remembered I haven't made an Incredible Hulk reference this entire show. Now, when I talked about people in the 80s in the 80s television not necessarily being the most pretty people, did I think of the Incredible Hulk television series? Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. All right. Well, that is it for the second and third episodes of season 2, I guess. Better late than never.
Hey, one thing, I'm sorry. Let me just back up. We also get to see Joe Morton and John Glover in a scene or two together.
Yeah, and they chew it up pretty good.
Yes.
His he says that he has vision.
He says you're a man of
you're a man of you don't share Lex's vision,
Right.
or whatever. That dart back he does to. He's pretty proud of himself for that joke in the midst of breaking apart from the inside.
But he also turns us on to the fact that hexagonal or octagonal disc is a key. And so there's the whole point where Lionel's feeling for it. And so then you wonder, knowing what's coming in Insurgents down the road, you're like, does Lionel know? Does he already have this thing? And he's kind of aware of what it is, or this send him on his search?
Right.
That's a fun thing. But the thing I like about this whole season, we mentioned it earlier, is as you go through this season 2, by the time, look, we're talking to Jor-El at the end of the season.
Right.
And so there's so many little things that I think that the writers do a good job of, you're trying to figure out a way, because one of the things that I've heard Alan Miles both say is that the WB and then later the CW did not want serialized television. They wanted episodic television for the purposes of syndication. And so you had to plant seeds or little breadcrumbs along the way to get to the big moments, rather than do what they do now with, and all the streaming sites and everything, where you can film a whole series, a whole episode, or a whole season rather, at one time and do the through line. And so, plus they're doing 20 plus episodes in these seasons too. And so you can't really have the fullness of the mythology episodes. But man, by the time we get to, Jor-El, we've gone through a whole lot. And of course there's it all hinges, or, the fulcrum of it all really becomes Rosetta and everything that goes on there. So it's a good season that I feel like by and large it's a little bit stronger. These first 4 episodes, Vortex, Heat, and Duplicity, and Red, I think are all just really strong right out of the gate.
I agree.
Episodes for the season.
I agree. It does kind of show the series pivoting in the direction we get more into with seasons 3 and 4,
yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah.
What those overall seasons become versus, many episodes in a row dealing with the same.
Well, it's a neat thing, because we know that I think season 3 is one of those seasons that everyone looks back on and heralds as one of the best seasons of Smallville. And I think they do that because of the high points are so high. Shattered really is kind of the standout.
See, it's my second favorite season, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'd have to reevaluate now at 38 years old.
Right.
But season 5 still is.
I think season 5 is just outstanding.
From start to finish is really.
Yeah, but season 4, they went back from the darkness of season 3 so hardcore, so quick. Season 4 gets a lot more of the comedy and a lot more of the silliness, but then you got that whole witch thing that runs through the art.
Thing is the silliness, like it's dark, but it's also silly.
Yeah, especially when all 3 of them are possessed. That one episode where they're all 3 possessed. But when you hit season 5, it's like, all right, we finally got all the ingredients together, and we're just going to roll with this thing. And season 5 is just super, super strong to me.
It is.
In the ending of season 5, I remember when that finale, at the end of that finale, I was sitting there with my friends, and I just looked at it and I said, this is not a Clark Kent show anymore. This is a Superman show. It has to be.
I remember watching season 4 finale, commencement, that, the stones coming together and him throwing it and standing in the Arctic and then immediately leaving there and going to the theater to get in line for
the
Sith. And that guy standing behind me was like, I waited 5 years for that. Like, buddy, there's more to come.
There's more to come. I also, and then of course there's the destruction of the fortress in season 7, and we know what that wrought in our own lives.
Why would you make a logo out of that? Why would you?
Because we're idiots.
SmallvillePodcast.com is the website. Mail at SmallvillePodcast.com is our email.
Is it there?
Are you still listening? Are you there? Or have we just been talking to ourselves this whole time? Which would be fine. There's nothing wrong with that. What do you mean is what's still there? The website?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still there.
Great.
It for a few hours yesterday when I broke it.
Derek broke the internet.
I did. I called Graham and I was like, hey, I crashed the entire shoe website. And he was like, are you calling from 2008?
Great Scott, Marty.
It's like that episode Crisis where they're calling from.
Yes, from a few days prior.
So yeah, there hasn't been a post since 2021 when we interviewed Alan Miles. But that's fine. We'll get rolling again. It's fun to do. Hey, listen to Talkville. That's something that started since 2017 when we wrapped up season 1.
Are we going to promote those guys?
Yeah, why not? Tom and Michael. I don't know if they're good guys. Have you heard of them? Have you seen them?
Good people. They're good folks.
Who would have, if you'd gone back to 2011 and told us, hey, in 10, 11 years, Tom and Michael are going to do their own Smallville podcast, I would have called you a liar.
Yeah.
Straight out of the gate. But they do it, and they do it consistently. Because even when they announced it, I was like, are they going to get through?
Yeah, they're in season 3 now.
3?
Yeah.
And that they're going to go past Michael leaving the show. Which is...
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Interesting thing to me. Even more than hearing them share stories of what they can and often can't remember. I think them calling Al is the best. It's usually the best parts of the show. But seeing reactions and hearing stories from Tom's POV, I almost kind of hope they shift the podcast at that point, and Tom's more the lead on that.
Yeah.
Michael takes the Tom spot.
Well, what's interesting, and I know Michael has produced some of his own stuff and everything, but what's really interesting is to hear Tom talk about these, because Tom has developed a real producer's mindset when it comes to making television and everything. So he has such a good perspective on the making of the show. And so when Rosenbaum is kind of like down on something, Tom's really quick to say, well, this is probably the reason this went this way. I think they're both really honest about their feelings about episodes and that sort of thing. And it's, they're looking at it through a completely different lens than we are, I'm always surprised by what they don't know, but that's just the fan in me.
Well, I guess it's one thing to have actually lived it and not remember 20 years later. I sit here and go, we hosted this podcast and watched these episodes endlessly and discussed every nuance and nitpicked and did he fly in this one and did he not fly in this one? And then you asked me what duplicity is, and I'm like, I think
right. Well, also, if we go back and just talk about the shows that we did, you and I did, there are a few standout moments, but there are things I also absolutely could not tell you took place.
We were talking about bits the other day, and Tim told me a bit you and I did involving a generator. Hold on.
Let's bring this baby back to life.
Where is it?
You told the story of your buddy and the generator on like round 3 or something.
Yeah, no, not that. It was this was over text. I did something in a typo and didn't, and I said, I'm sorry, I had a stroke. And he said, that sounds like something from that tweet generator you and Steve did on Shoe that one time, which he then said, you don't remember that.
The tweet generator.
No clue what you're talking about. And it was from episode 170, which was in the original run from the episode Kent. So what was that, season 9 or 10? Season 10, I think.
What happened in Kent?
That's when they go to Earth 2 and we meet the wrong Jonathan who didn't marry Martha.
Yeah.
But he sent me a link to the. I'll be honest, Tim, I didn't listen to it because that's actually when I broke the website yesterday, as you were sending me that. So he reminded me of some bit that I have no memory of.
I don't remember that at all. Was I on that episode?
I don't know. He said so. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
170 Kent. When would that have been from?
I think that was season 10. Episode 170. I mean, we're only on episode 191, and it's been 12 years later.
Okay, so 2011.
April 2011.
Kent. Read more. Martha gives Clark and Lois the deed to the family farm as an early wedding gift, and the two decide it's best to sell the farm and move to Metropolis. Meanwhile, Clark Luthor arrives from the alternate universe and sends Clark. The guys reunite to discuss the end of the beginning with Kent and all that lies within. There's a lot of discussion about these final installments. Nothing about our bit.
Nothing about the bit. I don't think we usually put the bit in the episode description.
Cue the music.
Is that an echo?
2.5 hours was this episode, by the way.
Worse. What? We had better things to be doing. There's no... okay, if it's 2.5 hours, it had to be us. I'll much right now. 2.5.
2.5 hours about one episode of Smallville.
About a John Schneider guest role.
Now, look, I do get frustrated with Tom and Lex, Michael, sometimes, because I feel like you guys could go another 30 minutes and answer some more questions, or have a little bit more to say about things, because they keep it to a tight 55 minutes to an hour unless they've got a guest on. But 2.5 hours? How did I sit and talk about an episode of Smallville for 2.5 hours?
Let's be fair. It was a 2.5 hour runtime. Let's say 48 minutes was devoted to Smallville. Because again, as you said at the beginning of this, we didn't edit much, especially by this point. I can guarantee you, if we were going 2.5 hours into an episode, I wasn't going back and editing a thing of that.
Apparently, we talked a lot about this tweet generator.
I wonder. See if I could. Are we keeping this in the episode? Yeah, why not? If you're listening to us at this point, you're listening for this kind of stuff.
He directed 2 episodes of Ironside in the 60s.
There you go.
That's way more relevant.
Oh, Humrick's on this episode too.
Okay, hang on. Let me give you the timestamp. Let me open it. He said it would take me to it.
The way my setup works these days, I don't know that you can hear my audio coming through.
Hear you. It's not taking me to. Let's just play in the episode.
Again.
That's what.
A lot of laughing.
Where's that from?
Oh my God! Really?
I want pizza.
The 5th trailer of ours that didn't make the cut.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, everybody screams, it pulls out of Earth, the shield comes around Earth, it says believe, and Steve goes, it better be pizza.
I do remember that.
That's a good bit.
Definitely coming back, as we saw in the trailer after Sign.
That's right.
Can't get this.
He's Connor Kent.
When he shows up at the funeral, because it was almost like he was this drunk.
Ultimately, and
Spelling.
what was that called, Derek? Water?
Hydro.
H2O.
Or fragile.
Just you, me, and Humrick?
Yeah, it was me, you, and Humrick. Yeah.
Good get. That's a good get.
That's a good. Well, this is during the time when.
This is Damien.
This is after I had left and came back.
Yeah.
And so while I was gone, you had Robin and
Humrick and Damien.
Yeah, okay. You and Damien would do an episode, then Robin and Humrick would do an episode. And then I think it was was it Fortune? Is that the name of that How Do We Do episode?
Yeah.
That I was like, I'm going to totally derail these guys.
And how? Okay. Well, maybe next time we'll remember what the generator bit was, and we'll come back.
Oh, I'm going to find it. I'm going to find that generator bit.
Yeah, so smallvillepodcast.com, mail at smallvillepodcast.com. Please email us or tweet us or X us. I don't know what it's called now. Tim's running that thing at Shoe Smallville. And I don't know where else we are. I think we're on Instagram. I think Robin runs that one.
We need to tweet from Steric, or they're going to take it away from us.
Oh, is that still a thing?
For it, Steric is eternal.
Those are 2 good-looking guys right there.
Oh yeah, look at there. There we are.
There we are. Why are there 568 followers?
Because we're podcasting professionals.
It must be.
That's awesome.
Speaking of duplicity. All right, so we'll see you guys next time in 2024 when we discuss Red and Nocturne. Say good night, Steve.
Good night, Steve.